Keyword research used to be pretty straightforward. You would find what people would search on Google, you would create content around it, and then you would try to rank for it. But in 2026, that's only half of the job, because more and more people nowadays get their answers directly from AI tools like ChatGPT or Google's AI overview, often without even clicking on the search results. So in this video, I will go over a simple keyword research process that works well for both traditional search engines, but also AI answer engines, so that your content gets discovered no matter where your audience is searching from. Now let's start by looking at a quick example first. When I make the following search in Google, for example, you will see that the search results are split up into multiple different sections. So when you scroll down, you will see the regular Google search results, and at the top of the page, you will see the AI overview section. Now, this section only gets triggered whenever Google identified the query as question-based. This means that users want to get direct answers to their questions. So it's a strong signal that the content related to this particular keyword should be answering questions clearly, preferably at the top of the page. Also, here on the right side, you can see these websites popping up. These are the sources that are being used for this particular AI overview. So the biggest shift there is that search engines now answer questions directly. With Google, you have AI overview, and tools like ChatGPT now get used for questions that people used to type into Google. So keywords that used to generate organic traffic are now being answered by search engines without users even clicking on the search results. So the goal shouldn't just be rankings anymore. The goal should also be for your content to be used as a source for these AI-generated answers. And you could achieve this by making sure that your content is clear, structured, and directly answering questions. Now, let's actually proceed with the keyword research process. But before we open up any tool, it's important to start by looking at your core service areas first. So with Pronto marketing, for example, our core service areas would be WordPress maintenance or website security or WordPress web design, local SEO, or Google Ads. Now, these will be your topic buckets. And ideally, you want the keywords that you will be researching later on to be related to at least one of these core topics to ensure that the content you will build around these keywords fully supports the services that your business offers. Because let's say if you've picked a keyword and you build content around that particular keyword that isn't related to any of these core services, sure, it might generate organic traffic, but it will probably not generate any meaningful leads because visitors on the page will know that your website doesn't even offer those services. So once you've picked your core topics, we can now proceed with using a keyword research tool. So for this example, I will be using Ahrefs. So what you want to do is go to Keyword Explorer and insert any of your keywords in there. So for example, WordPress security in this case, and click on search. Now you will see a load of data popping up, and there are a few important elements to pay attention to when doing keyword research. So the first one would be keyword difficulty. Now this number is based on how competitive that particular keyword is. So the higher the number, the more websites are trying to rank for that particular keyword. So in general, I would say that the lower the keyword difficulty, the more easy it is for your website to rank for that particular keyword. But of course, if your website is very strong and has a lot of authority, it might also be possible for your website to rank for keywords with a higher keyword difficulty. And then there's also search volume. Now, search volume is based on the monthly searches being made for that particular keyword. And yes, in general, the higher the search volume, the better. But sometimes even a lower search volume could be very nice if the intent is right. And one note here for both keyword difficulty and search volume is that these are not hard numbers, but they are more there to give you a direction. Another thing I like to do when doing keyword research in Ahrefs is go to matching terms here on the left sidebar. Now, all keywords shown here are related to the initial keyword that you've inserted in the Keyword Explorer tool. So it gives you much more keyword opportunities than you initially searched for. Another thing I like to do is click on SERP features. So when you click on the SERP features column, you will see a big drop down with loads of features that you could be selecting. When I click on AI overviews, for example, and filter the keywords for that feature, you will only see keywords that have the AI overview feature triggered. So that means that you will know what type of content should the page for this particular keyword have. Basically what I was talking about earlier on, answering questions directly, preferably at the top of the page. Now, Lastly, I also like to filter for informational intent keywords. Now you could do so by clicking on this include column over here on the right side and just insert any question related keyword like how or what or guide. And once you've clicked on show results, you will see that the keywords are filtered for keywords that have informational intent, and they could be great for blog posts or other tutorial related content. So Ahrefs provides decent keyword opportunities from a traditional SEO perspective, but it doesn't really show you how these keywords actually perform within these AI generated answers. And that's where tools like Peec.ai come in handy. Peec.ai analyzes the prompt and it understands how AI tools generate their answers. So this is what the interface of Peec.ai looks like. And you can see that it will show, for example, how well your brand or website is performing in terms of visibility across all these different AI models like ChatGPT, Perplexity, AI overviews. And one thing I like to do is go to prompts on the left sidebar and add a question that is related to one of the keywords that you researched earlier on in Ahrefs. Because one thing to keep in mind is that with AI search, users generally ask complete questions rather than short keywords. So once you've added the question to the table, you can then click on the prompt and you will see how the prompt is performing and how your brand is performing for that particular prompt across these different AI models. When you scroll down, you will see what the prompts look like for ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google AI Overview, and whether your website is showing up or not. Another nice feature here is that you could click on the prompt and you could see the sources that are being used for that particular answer that in this example ChatGPT has given. Now you could compare your content with the sources that are being listed over here and make sure that your content has a higher quality than these sources so that the chances increase of your page actually being used as a source increases. So the process overall is pretty simple. You want to start off by choosing topics that are related to your core services. Then you want to use a keyword research tool like Ahrefs, for example, and find keywords that have a decent search volume, the right intent, and the right keyword difficulty. Then you want to check whether these keywords actually trigger AI overviews. And you could also analyze AI search results by using tools like Peec.ai. And lastly, you want to structure your content in a way that it is answering questions directly to increase the chances of your content being used as a source for the AI generated answers. If you found this useful, please consider subscribing to our channel. We create practical SEO and WordPress related tutorials like this on a weekly basis.